For the Air Force Association in Virginia, this is your AFA Daily Report.
USAF nets Turkey's F-35s under $861.7 million contract mod. The Pentagon will acquire 8 F-35A jets previously bound for Turkey, plus 6 more F-35As under an $861.7 million contract. The contract modifies a previous fixed-price award and exercises options to procure 8 Lot 14 F-35A Lightning II repositioned aircraft as a result of the Republic of Turkey's removal from the F-35 program. The other 6 Air Force F-35As covered by the contract are from the same lot. The deal funds recurring engineering to modify the Turkish-ordered jets to meet USAF specifications. Work is to be completed by May 2026.
Oil leak, improper mission planning caused 2018 RQ-4 crash. A leak in a cracked oil line caused an RQ-4's engine to fail during a ferry flight to the Middle East in June 2018, and because the operations aircrews did not properly plan divert airfields en route, the Global Hawk crashed into the sea near Spain, according to an Air Force investigation. The RQ-4B, tail number 092041, operated by the 348th Reconnaissance Squadron at Grand Forks Air Force Base, North Dakota, was deploying to U.S. Central Command when its engine failed more than 11 hours into the flight. After gliding for about an hour, the pilot determined the aircraft could not make it to a divert airfield and crashed it into the sea, destroying the RQ-4 at a loss of $98 million. Air Force equips airmen to lead discussions on race. The Air Force released a list of resources to help foster conversations on race and inclusion within the service. Since protests started after the killing of George Floyd on May 25, Air Force leadership has encouraged frank discussions on race throughout the service. The goal of this list is to equip airmen with the knowledge to constructively solve issues of prejudice and bigotry. We must arm our forces with the insights and perspectives of how they can first and foremost be empathetic leaders, Lieutenant Colonel Angel Lugo, Education and Training Chief of the Air Force Diversity and Inclusion Division, said in a July 17 press release. The list includes books, videos from senior leaders, and TED Talks.
B-1 Task Force trains with Japanese F-15Js, deploys to Guam. 2 B-1s deployed to the Pacific on July 17, flying intercept training with Japanese F-15Js before landing at Andersen Air Force Base, Guam, for the first time since May. The 2 Lancers from the 37th Bomb Squadron at Ellsworth Air Force Base, South Dakota, flew directly to the Sea of Japan for the integration training with the Japan Air Self-Defense Force F-15Js as part of the Bomber Task Force deployment. Since ending the continuous bomber presence mission in April, Air Force Global Strike Command has sent smaller task force deployments of bombers on direct flights to the Pacific as part of what it calls dynamic force employment. USAF selects 12 Outstanding Airmen of the Year for 2020. The Air Force has selected 12 Outstanding Airmen of the Year from a pool of 36 nominees representing major commands, direct reporting units, field operating agencies, and Headquarters Air Force. The airmen were selected based on their superior leadership, job performance, and personal achievements, according to a USAF release. The Outstanding Airman of the Year program debuted at Air Force Association's 10th Annual National Convention in 1956, and the association has continued to shine a spotlight on the outstanding airmen from each major command every year since. Heidi Grant tapped to lead Weapons Export Agency as first civilian chief. Heidi Grant, once the Air Force's top weapon exports official, will now lead the Defense Security Cooperation Agency, marking a shift from uniform to civilian leadership at that agency. Defense Security Cooperation Agency's current leader, Army Lieutenant General Charles Hooper, is retiring. Grant will oversee arms sales that are increasing annually, to more than $55 billion last year.
Virtual events, Goldfein discusses state of USAF at Brookings, and more. Today, Air Force Chief of Staff General David L. Goldfein will appear in conversation with Mara Carlin, Director of the Merrill Center and the Johns Hopkins School of Advanced International Studies Strategic Studies Program, to discuss the state of the service, including issues such as USAF modernization, and deterring Russia and China. Webinar registration is required, but free, and you can sign up in the description posted in today's episode. End of transmission.